Hi everybody, TJ Mac Vintage Cards, and today I'm showing a case here that I plan on putting display in my card room, showing off Topps headshots from 1957 to 1989. The only years that are omitted are the 1960 Topps set because it's a horizontal design, and it's also got the dual images, and the 1983 and 84 Topps sets that have headshots, but they're only a small portion of the card in the lower right corner. 83, of course, had the circular image in the bottom corner, and then 84 had the square image. So I did not include those because I don't think they would flow as well in a display just from a pleasing to the eye perspective when you look at it. So I thought these 30 captured it well, and this is right in one of the main eras I collect, and that's from the 50s to the 80s. So I thought I'd show these off. With football season coming to an end in about a month, I'm starting to redo some of the cases that I plan on putting on display in my room. And in a second here, we'll take a closer look at some of these cards that I've chosen. So the first four cards we're going to look at are the 57 Topps Berra, 58 Ted Williams, 59 Sandy Kofax, and 61 Roger Maris. So how I selected these, I just wanted stars that were reflective of those particular eras. And I also picked some cards that I thought were kind of interesting for that time. With the 57 Berra, I just liked the photo. He was really the best catcher in the American League, certainly during the 1950s. He won 3 MVPs, and I thought he'd be a great one to capture here with a nice smiling image. And then next to that, you have the 58 Ted Williams, very serious image there. And I thought that's a nice one to show because he was a very serious person when it came to hitting. You can see he's got the bat on his shoulder, and I just think it really captures Ted Williams very well. I like the logo there. You got the beautiful bright yellow background, which is just a nice contrast there to the 57 Topps that had the more natural background. And then next to that, you have the 59 Topps, which incorporated both the color and the natural background with the inset color of yellow that's used. And then inside that, you have the circular photo of course, the legendary Sandy Kofax. I like that he's got the Dodger blue there on the hat with L.A. L.A., of course, is the place that made him a star a couple years later when he started having the big seasons. But here he is just before that in 1959. And then next to him, of course, you have the 61 Topps Roger Maris. And you got Roger there, a very serious look with those piercing blue eyes. He got the bat on his shoulder. He's in front of it, looks like a batting net there. And I just think that's a nice image to capture in this case because 61 was the year that Roger became an all-time legendary player in the game of baseball. Next three cards are the 62 Topps Duke Snider, 63 Mickey Mantle, and 64 Al Kaline. I like this 63 Duke image, even though L.A. is not the place where he grew into stardom. It was more Brooklyn. L.A. is where his career faded and ended eventually with the Mets, and then I believe he even had a little short stint with the Giants, if I'm not mistaken. But I just like this image of Duke. You can see the gray in the temples there. He was a guy that I believe went gray pretty early in his life, but you can just see the age there on him, and I just always liked this card, and I just wanted to have this one reflected in the case. And then next to that, you have a nice image that I've shown and talked about extensively in a previous video. That's the 63 Tops Mantle with the facade in the background. And, of course, he was known to hit that facade on at least 2 occasions. And you just have just a nice image of the Mick probably a year or two before his greatness started to fade away as the injuries and lifestyle started mounting up on him. And then next to that is the 64 Al Kaline. And I picked that card because that was the first graded card I ever bought, so it's got some sentimental value to me and is really the card that really began it all for me as an adult when I got back into collecting. These next 4 cards are 4 of the greats of the National League at that time. Of course, you got Roberto Clemente, which I think this is one of his nicest images, really just a nice headshot of him. He's got a little bit of a smile there, as you can see. And just a nice colorful card with the yellow flag there of the Pirates. And it's just got the nice pink bottom there on the card with the Bob Clemente. Of course, we know him as Roberto Clemente. And then next to him, you got Ernie Banks, always smiling Ernie there, of course, of Let's Play 2 fame. And then you have the smiling Willie Mays next to him. This is Willie a little later in his career. But what I like here is that he still has that very youthful smile that he's always been associated with. So I always liked this card of him for that reason. And this is one I really was happy to put in here and have represented in this display. And then the 68 Tops Joe Morgan, this is a hatless shot, and I know a lot out there don't like the hatless shots, but this is a conversation piece to me because this card has Houston on it instead of the team name, which they normally would put in 68 Tops cards. But apparently, based on the research I've done, there was a dispute at that time between the Astros and the makers of AstroTurf, which had the trademark to Astros. So I don't know if this was just Topps' way of staying out of it, because up to that point, they did put Astros on their cards, but in 68, they removed all the references to Astros, airbrushed the logos off the hats, and you didn't see it on any of the jerseys. And they also did that for part of 69, and I think it was until, I want to say, the fourth series where they started putting the Astros logos on the uniforms again. And then in 70, they started using the Astros names on their cards again. So I just think that's an interesting story. I like that, and I just think these four cards flow very nicely together. Next up, we got the 69 Willie Stargell, 70 Frank Robinson, 71 Carl Yastrzemski, and 72 Nolan Ryan. And really, it was the 70 set is when you started seeing that transition from those classic top sets to more of the action-type photography beginning in 71, and it really started off with that fifth card of the set of Thurman Munson and that great catching pose with the player sliding in front of him. That's just really become an iconic Topps card. And then here also you have a really nice card of the 72 of Nolan Ryan, just the young fireballer coming up. And this is really the team that he started taking off with, was the Angels. And I just like these old Angels hats at the time, too, with the lowercase a with the halo above it as well. So just really four nice headshots depicting late 60s, early 70s stars of the era. So next three here are the 73 Bob Gibson, 74 Willie Mccovey, and 75 Hank Aaron. And by 73, you really started seeing a lot more action shots in the sets versus the previous years. 72 Topps had some because they did a lot of the in-action cards, but 73 just incorporated the action shots into a lot of the cards. But it's nice to still see some of the portrait-type shots, and you got a nice one here of Bob Gibson getting towards the end of his career. Of course, the great playoff performer who had one of the best seasons ever in 1968. And then next to that, I selected this Willie Mccovey because it's got the Washington City designation on it, because there were rumors that they were going to relocate to Washington for that season. Of course, it never came to fruition, so now you're left with this Topps card with the Washington City on some of them. And then, of course, you have the other ones that have the San Diego on it. But I thought the era would be good to show because it's, again, a conversation piece within this overall presentation that I'm doing. And then next to that, you have the 75 Topps Hank Aaron, just a beautiful color design of 75. And here you have this nice image of him behind this blurred out background, and it's just really, it pops that Hank Aaron image there, and the nice blue. So I thought that would be a nice one to depict in this case as well. These three go nice together because you start to go away from the formality of photography that you saw in a lot of the previous Topps photos. And by the 70s, they started using more natural type poses. You have a Pete Rose here in 76, likely leaning on the dugout or a fence for this image. And then you have Johnny Bench here looking like that he's batting, and you can see him with a little bit of a smile on his face, it looks like. And then in 78 Topps, you have George Brett there with his hair kind of messed up, and just really like these natural type images that started to take over in these 70s designs. And what's really cool here, too, is you have also three different representations of the All-Star that they used on the Topps card at that time. You got the star in 76, the banner in 77, and then the really, I think, cool red, white, and blue shield that they used in 78. We have 79 Reggie Jackson, 80 Dave Winfield, 81 Robin Yount. And then in the 79 and 80, you can still see the All-Star banners that were being used at that time, which I just think, again, really enhanced the cards. And you got Reggie here with the big glasses. I talked about that in Bowman 53, Alex's video, just how he wore those big glasses. that he was, you know, the superstar of that era. I just like this card of him as well. Looks like it's a shot taken before a game. And then you have this nice image here of Dave Winfield and those vintage San Diego Padre jerseys and helmets of that time. And then, of course, next to him is Robin Yount, who's also wearing that cool Brewers helmet of the day with the glove and the ball placed in the center there. So 3 more really attractive images that I think go well and complement this case. Here we have the 82 Gary Carter, and as I said, I didn't put 83 and 84 in here. 85 Eddie Murray, and 86 Tom Seaver. I like this 82 Gary Carter because it's a headshot, but it's done in a little different way. It's a natural setting. It's not a pose photo, just like some of those other ones weren't. But what's interesting here, too, is they have a person in front of them as well, as you can see in that image. And then you have Eddie Murray just sporting those really cool whiskers. I like that pose of that photo of him, so I selected that one from that year. And I just think the colors really work well together with the orange and black on the bottom of the card with the logo. And then you got the hat that he's wearing as well. That just everything matches really nicely on that card, I think. And then I took this Tom Seaver because it's airbrushed, and I thought it'd be cool to kind of reflect what airbrushing was being used at that time. And you can see there that it's not a terrible airbrush job, but you can see that it's an obviously airbrushed cap there on Tom Seaver and jersey that they placed on him to depict him with the Red Sox. And the last 3 images in this case are the 87 Tops Andre Dawson, 88 Tops Tom Glavine, and 89 Tops Kirby Puckett. And these 3 cards really signify the end of my run of building these 30 key card cases that I've done for each set from 56 to 89. These are the last 3 I worked on. You can even see the flips on these are newer PSA flips. And this is the culmination of that journey. These are 3 Topps Tiffany cards, because that's what I collected in 87, 88, and 89. And it depicts, of course, Andre Dawson in his MVP season of 87. A very young Tom Glavine here in his 88 Topps rookie card. And 89 Topps Kirby Puckett, which he was certainly one of the big stars of that time. And it's just really cool to end with these 3 players. Certainly the Dawson is a guy that I really enjoyed watching when I was a kid. And I was always a big fan of Kirby Puckett. And Tom Glavine really was one of the big star pitchers of the 1990s on those Braves teams. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and everybody have a great weekend.